Welcome to The Future is Autonomous, Nokia's zero-touch network revolution. Hello, I'm Sean McManus. To address the rising complexity of their networks and services, CSPs are increasingly adopting the autonomous networks model. It has the potential to not only enhance network performance and fault management, but also operational efficiency and customer experience. In our discussion today, we'll explore the drivers for autonomous networks, the challenges in implementing them, and the role of AI. So let's meet our panel. Joining me today are Daniel Askeroth, Chief Technology Officer, Network and Infrastructure at Norlys, Max Gasparroni, Chief Technology and Security Officer from Fastweb+Vodafone, and Erez Sverdlov, VP, Cloud and Network Services and Market Leader for Europe at Nokia. Hello everyone, good to see you all and thank you for taking part today. To start us off, what do you see as the main business and technical drivers accelerating the adoption of automation in networks? Erez, can I start with you for Nokia's perspective?
Thank you for the question, Sean. Consumer enterprise needs are rapidly changing, with expectations for faster, more seamless services. To meet the dynamic requirement, CSP must deliver what we call 0x experience. Zero wait, meaning instant order fulfillment. Zero touch, referring to automated delivery. Zero trouble, ensuring flawless service. And zero trust, built on a strong foundation of security. That's where autonomous network comes in. Using TM4 autonomous network maturity model as a foundation, Nokia offers our customer a multi-domain strategy. It integrates powerful combination of security, orchestration, assurance, analytic, and AI to simplify complex network operation and deliver the fully autonomous 0x experience. Our goal goes beyond automating simple tasks. We are working towards building network that can self-manage, optimize, and repair themselves across all domains: radio, transport, any cloud, while focusing on security and automation from a physical infrastructure to a cloud-based application. In short, it's about creating seamless, efficient networks that can also open new revenue opportunities for the CSP. Achieving true network autonomy means simplifying the complexity CSP face, improving network efficiency and resiliency, and unlocking new revenue streams.
Thank you, Erez. Interesting that this is in part a response to market demand and the way of meeting those customer expectations. Max, let's come across to you next. What drivers are you seeing that are accelerating the adoption of automation?
Hi, Sean. For Fastweb+Vodafone, we see on the business drivers two categories. First is to dramatically improve the services that we can offer to our customers, like improve network quality, and also the understanding and the quality delivered to each specific customer, improving resilience, fault detection, fault prevention. And the second category is on the speed and volume of which we'll be able to introduce new services with open APIs to quickly integrate telco infrastructures with our B2B and B2B2C customers. On the technical drivers, it's automation. AI is fundamental across all end-to-end cycle, starting from planning, design, implementation, then performance monitoring, optimization, and operations. Without automation AI, we cannot cope with the increased complexity of the networks and the services, the cyber threats, and most importantly, in achieving the advances in network performance. Just like in healthcare, for example, where AI is transforming the diagnostics, treatments, in telecom, it can unlock a new level of efficiency and service quality if implemented with purpose and precision.
Excellent, thank you. So it's quality, agility, and just a sheer need to use automation to meet today's needs, I guess. Tell us, Daniel, what are your thoughts on the drivers for autonomous networks?
Well, I think our drivers are very similar to Max's, because what we're looking at is very much cost, quality, and security in the end. So, I mean, from a cost perspective, running big operations and so on in Denmark will give you a cost issue. So the more we can actually automate, that will simplify our operations and actually make us capable of, well, earning money in the end, and also becoming national autonomous, because I think that will be a more and more requirement going forward. Quality, I think that will also be a big part of it, because the AI can learn a lot of things and can also prevent things from happening towards our customers. In Denmark, you have very high expectations from the customers on what they expect from us. So we are constantly trying to improve our network performance. And a bit contradictory maybe, I think the customers want cheaper, simpler solutions, but at the same time they want a tailored experience. And I think this is something that the AI will be able to bring us, or at least that's one of our hopes for it. And then in the security part, the fewer people we need in, the more secure we can make this.
That's great, thank you. So even as customer expectations become more demanding, automation gives you a way to satisfy those needs, I guess. A lot of consensus in those answers there. Now that we know what's driving autonomous networks, let's talk about the destination and the journey to get there. Now, many CSPs have high expectations for autonomous networks. What's the biggest gap between their aspirations and the current reality? And what factors contribute to this difference, specifically in Europe? Erez.
Thank you. I think this is a great question, Sean. Right now, the industry is sitting at level 1.5 to 2 when it comes to autonomous network maturity. When we talk to CSP, one of the things we are focused is helping them benchmark their network's automation and AI maturity level. Now, when I look at Europe, European CSP are taking deliberate, and I would say very smart and very wise approach of building fully autonomous network in stages. A recent TMM Forum benchmark study gives a good picture of Europe's position in autonomous network landscape. When we ask about their strategy, 72% of the European CSP said they are following a gradual, continuous improvement model. Only 28% described the plan as ambitious, and for a full transformation. Compared with that, for example, if you go to Middle East, where over 50% responded they're pushing aggressive autonomous strategy. European operators are balancing innovation with operational realities. They face existing system, complex architecture, and a lot of regulatory pressure. Rather than chase a hype, they are prioritizing use cases that show clear ROI, especially around operation and customer experience. What helps to close the gap? It's giving the operator tools that fit into their current reality without overwhelming them. That's how we close the gap for our customers. CSP are starting from different points of the autonomous network journey with varied goals and speed. In our modular solution, we meet CSPs when they are in and help them move forward without adding to the complexity of hybrid networking. Most recently, with our recent introduction of Network Fabric, it's a connectivity tissue that links data, AI, and automation across all domains. So this gradual approach is the way currently we see the world is moving to.
Thank you, Erez. Daniel and Max, let's talk about where you are on your journey towards network autonomy. What are the biggest challenges you're currently facing with network automation, and how are you addressing them? Daniel, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think the biggest obstacles so far is probably the data quality and many of the legacy systems, and also the process maturity across the CSP world. I mean, we are coming from a world where there's a lot of M&A activities and so on. So we are the result of many purchases across the Danish market. On our side, we are reorganizing as part of becoming Norlys, the first Danish, pure Danish company, carving out of Telia companies. So we are actually investing a lot in new systems, but also looking into processes and also looking into the data quality. And I think actually data quality and the process would be the biggest obstacle for us.
Thank you, Daniel. Clearly, legacy is a huge challenge for operators. Very few of them have the luxury of starting from scratch. Max, let me come to you now. What are some of Fastweb+Vodafone's challenges in implementing automation in your network? Or what are you seeing more generally?
Thank you, Sean. In Fastweb+Vodafone, we are at the beginning of the automation journey as we only recently acquired Vodafone Italy. And we are undergoing a radical modernization and automation program. With reference to the TM Forum excellent autonomous network level framework, I would say that we are between level 1 and level 2, roughly much closer to level 2, actually. And for some aspects, I would say we are close to level 3. What are the biggest challenges? First is people's mindset, as the advances of AI have been wrongly touted as a mean to achieve FTE efficiencies, which creates resistance. Instead, we frame internally automation as a tool to improve quality, speed, scalability, and relieve our people from the most tedious and boring jobs. Second is the complexity of the legacy systems, platforms, processes, where it will certainly take time to unravel and modernize. What are we doing internally? We have empowered our teams to challenge the status quo. They identify inefficiencies and the pain points bottom up. And then we discuss in order to prioritize the use cases to implement based on cost benefits outcomes. The execution is led by internal teams, where they are supported by either by our newly launched AI factory in Fastweb or by selected third parties. But in following this path, we have 3 key principles. First is to have open APIs to ensure interoperability. The second is that we want to own the intellectual property so we can retain control over strategic assets. And last but not least is to ensure to have a shared data infrastructure working closely with IT on unified inventories and data fabrics. And in order to do that, we are heavily investing in people reskilling.
Thank you, Max. Interesting to see the mindset dimension come in there. There's always a huge amount of organisational change with transformations like this, and I can see how that can be a significant challenge. Let's come across to Erez now. Tell us, how does Nokia address the integration challenges inherent in multi-domain, multi-vendor network environments to achieve seamless network operation? There's a lot of complexity to deal with there.
Yeah, so I think the key is to make sure the different networking domain, radio, transport, core, and cloud, work together seamlessly. To do this through AI-powered observability, which give a deep visibility into the network performance, and closed-loop automation that automatically adjusts configuration. These technologies ensure that the inevitable seams between systems are invisible, allowing for smooth and efficient operation without constant human intervention. Fundamental to this is, of course, security, embedded into all network layers. The networks that Nokia built are secure by design, integrating orchestration, assurance, analytics, and security to deliver AI-powered autonomous network. Now, we understand the network and software, and we have the right people with the right skill set to help our customers, making us a trusted partner in navigating this complexity of software integration. We have built a proven use cases to help CSP worldwide address the challenges and complexity of a multi-domain, multi-vendor network.
Thank you, Erez. I think it is important to take that multi-domain view if the goal is ultimately to achieve that multi-domain integration. It's good to start out with that in mind. Let's talk about security now, which we did just touch on. The telecom sector has grappled with a diverse range of cyber threats, as we know. Networks are growing more complex, threats are becoming more targeted, and yet at the same time, regulations are demanding ever faster action. Why is it important to use telecom-grade security tools rather than relying solely on traditional IT solutions, especially as operations become more automated? Erez, let me come to you for your thoughts first.
Thank you. So we believe security is a cornerstone of autonomous network. Security is non-negotiable in the autonomous network strategy. Instead of being an afterthought, we built it into every layer of the network. This includes advanced threat detection, real-time monitoring, and predictive security measures embedded within the network foundation. By ensuring security is baked in from the start, Nokia aims for the network that can self-monitor, detect vulnerabilities early, and self-heal itself without human intervention. Keeping operations secure, a critical requirement as our industry evolves. The extended detection response, XDR, security market is projected to grow by 150%, from 965 million in 2022 to 2.4 billion by 2027, according to industry estimates. Our NetGuard cybersecurity dome is an award-winning security software so that pre-built 5G use cases for CSP and critical infrastructure enterprises. It offers real-time visibility across networks, cloud infrastructure, and even endpoints. It unifies security control points, offers security telemetry, and provides analytics and operation in a single view, all to drive the resiliency of the network.
Thank you, Erez. Nokia has clearly identified the need for security to be built into those foundational technologies. Max, let's come across to you. Tell us a bit about security tools that you're implementing in your network.
Yeah, Sean. Telco for us is a critical sector because a cyber attack on a telco company may have very big impact and ramifications on many other sectors like energy, healthcare, transportation, etc. And regulation is rightly so increasing. So at European level, for example, we are seeing NIS2, CER, DORA, and the same. And there are a couple of frameworks for this that are specific for the Italian market. And securing a telco is much more complex endeavor than securing a standard IT environment. For example, we have loads of components, so not just servers, but we have RAN nodes, routers, core network aspects, as Erez was saying. And then in protocols, we have loads of legacy protocols like SS7 that have not been designed to be secure, but unfortunately, they are still in use. We have complex supply chain, and then we also have the need for specialized solutions like specific firewalls, specific hardening, and specific performance requirements like minimum latency, high throughput, in order to identify threats in real time and mitigate them. How can we handle this complexity? Well, we are encompassing a multiplicity of initiatives. So, for example, we are expanding the perimeter of the assets under supervision and the procedures that we have under control. We perform sector-specific risk assessments, rigorous implementation of cybersecurity controls, and we have organized ourselves internally into a 3-level with clear separation to ensure that we have a strict revision processes and corrective measures are implemented and validated by the internal audit team. And so in terms of guidelines, we have security data integration and correlation, real-time monitoring and simplification. Last but not least is the training of internal employees is for us of paramount importance because as unfortunately history teaches us, cyber incidents most of the time happen because they exploited the human factor. And what kind of tools? So the deployment of advanced and evolving tools is critical as the attacks are becoming more and more sophisticated. And they're using AI. So our responses should be to monitor automatically the amount or type of traffic, quickly spot anomalies versus what is the norm. So how are we doing that? Well, we're starting with the integration of telco-specific data AI training. So the signaling traffic, RAN, 5G logs, network device telemetry, data behavior, and then integrate it into AI models that are tailored for telecom threats.
That's great. Thank you, Max. It's interesting. Obviously, the stakes are very high in telco, as you identified, but there's also so much bespoke telco technology to deal with there. So it's interesting to hear how you're using AI to address that and attacks on it. Let's come over to you now, Daniel, for Norlys' perspective on using telecom-grade security tools over traditional IT solutions.
Well, from our perspective, I mean, security is at the center of what we are doing. So everything we are looking at for new technologies, etc., we are doing the risk assessment, as Max was also in on. And also we have a collaboration with Erez and the Nokia team as well to help us out with some of the security tools. Much of what you're doing is going to be impacted about the legacy, because we need to understand how do we actually handle the legacy in these situations as well. So understanding that and also doing the training part, because training of the people is going to be central in all of what we're doing. The reason for needing the telco-grade tools is the fact that it's real-time based. It is the anomalies we need to catch because it's not just an on and off. We need to be there 24/7 in everything that we do. So it's about how can we be proactive in what we're doing and so on. But to a very large extent, it's about monitoring, but it's also about doing the risk assessment properly from the start. So we actually take in the measures when we design the platforms.
Thank you, Daniel. I guess the need for real-time anomaly detection is always going to drive a desire to use telco tools, but it is important to wrap training around it, as you said. We must move on to our next question now. We've seen that AI and automation go hand in hand when it comes to operational efficiency. How can CSPs apply AI ops to enable closed-loop automation and drive down operational complexity and costs? Daniel, let's come to you for your thoughts on this one first.
Yeah, from our perspective in Norlys, it's very much about understanding the interdomain part of the automation. How can we actually train the processes and how can we improve our data so that we actually have something end to end? So that's the way we can see that you can drive the AI ops going forward. I think in the end, it's going to be a mix between AI and machine learning for how we actually track anomalies, patterns, etc. across. And yeah, so I think it's about many of the standard things that we had also in one of the previous questions. It's about how can we train ourselves on processes and data. I think that will be the key for us.
Great, thank you. Some great points there. Thank you. Max, what are your views on closed-loop automation to drive down complexities and costs?
Well, Sean, for us, we see automation, machine learning, and AI, especially generative AI, as essential and transformative. We need to have the right team expertise and mindset in order to produce a compelling roadmap for each of our internal domains, such as mobile, fiber, converged operations, and then start the implementation of the most compelling use cases first, the so-called low-hanging fruit. Inside the company, it's critical to have common data storage and common data fabric, as eventually the power of these use cases will be when we can get them interacting with each other. We have embarked on this journey. We are at the beginning, as I said earlier, but we have implemented some automation with AI using in-house. For example, on the fiber rollout feasibility study, in Fastweb+Vodafone, we're doing more than 50,000 of them a year. And we switched from manual to automated feasibility and cost analysis. And we are reduced by 60 to 70% the speed and the amount of resources involved. And actually, we have improved the accuracy of the results by more than 15%. And we have set ourselves up for scaling to over 100,000 feasibility studies a year. On mobile, besides, we've been using what we call smart planning, where when we have to plan network improvements and expansion, we take into account many dimensions, not just network congestion. We recently started deploying automation and AI for site upgrades acceptance. The results have been absolutely excellent, mind-blowing. Over 90% back office reduction with 95% first time right and 99% accuracy. Then in-house, we have deployed, we're using AI and automation in order to have an AI, what we call it, in-house assisted brain to continuously improve the Wi-Fi performance without disturbing the users when they are active. And actually, we use it, the feedback, to suggest the customers corrective actions that they may need to take. And also in the area of cyber, we started not just on tools like enhanced threat detection, automated incident responses, vulnerability management prioritization, and etc. But also we are using solutions like real-time adaptive security policies and also to help producing, documenting, and auditing the processes and the procedures that the teams need to undertake. So this gradual and focused rollout of AI, as Erez said, is a gradual process, will allow us to first implement this closed-loop automation within the single domains. And once those domains are stable, we'll move through cross-domain closed-loop automation, where the value compounds, improving quality, reduce complexity, and driving down cost will then be materializing.
Thank you, Max. It's interesting to hear how your vision is to have all of these use cases helping each other and working together, and you're putting that foundation in place now, even as these use cases are isolated for the time being. Let's come over to Erez now for some final comments on closed-loop automation.
I think the following, Carty. The Nokia AOP solution integrate AI into the network operation to automate tasks, predict issues, and proactively manage networks. Nokia Autonomous Network Fabric is a key enabler of this AOP-driven closed-loop automation. It provides a unified platform for managing and orchestrating automation across multiple domains and vendors, simplifying integration and reducing complexity. By implementing this AIOps-driven approach, the CSP can achieve significant cost reduction through optimized resource utilization. I think this is, as Max said, reduce manual intervention, and a faster problem resolution. All of this, and at the same time, they can improve the customer experience through enhanced network reliability, faster service delivery, and proactive issue mitigation.
Thank you, Erez. I think it is important to always keep in mind that ultimately it's about the customer experience and it's about the services that are delivered. Finally, let's come to perhaps the hardest question of them all. Will we ever see fully autonomous networks? Who wants to tackle this one? Max, let's hear your views first.
And I would echo the words from Howard Watson, who spoke to Telecom TV the other week at DTW, that I don't expect full autonomy in any short time horizon, probably in the next 10 years. But what's really important is to be aggressive and committed on the journey, as we will not move from current level, let's say 1.8 to level 4 through one giant step, instead by hundreds of steady improvements. And to make this real, leadership must set the tone. We need to create a culture where automation is seen not as a threat, but as an opportunity to evolve. So upskilling becomes central, and the teams must be empowered with the knowledge to implement these use cases effectively. We also need to stay focused. In performance optimization, for example, if we don't define a minimum viable data set for our models, we risk of having inefficiencies, being buried by tons and tons of data that are not effective and not relevant, that will slow us down rather than move us forward. So will we ever see full autonomous networks? Yes, I am very confident, but not tomorrow. What we'll see definitely is a smarter, faster, and more responsive network shaped by every step that we take on the road to autonomy.
Thank you, Max. Daniel, let me ask you the same question. Will we ever see fully autonomous networks?
It is one of the more difficult questions. I even asked my head of strategy and my head of operations to get their views on it, and I got their diverging answers. So my head of strategy starts saying, no, we will not. And my head of operations says yes, which surprised me a lot, I must say. I think there are some perspectives into it. From a strategy perspective, you need to understand the accountability and who, because in the end, there will always be someone accountable for the actions that we take, especially when we are going towards higher security classes and so on. So there will always be some kind of human intervention. My operations guy, on the other hand, he said, very similar to Max's story, it's going to be small steps, many of them, and a long journey before we see the complete journey towards the automated. My take, I think it will be a long journey to get there. I believe we're going to be there, but I think there will, at least within the foreseeable future, be a requirement that there is a human involved to intervene and take the responsibility in the end. I think the capabilities will be there. I think we're probably blocked by other things such as ethics, regulations, etc.
Thank you. And finally, Erez, do you have any additional observations on whether we will ever see fully autonomous networks?
I must say, I agree with my colleagues. I think the autonomous network are a goal, but getting there, as I mentioned before, is a step-by-step journey. Our vision, or my future vision, is to see optimize, self-heal, and deploy services with none to minimal human input, but we have to get there. I think the industry is definitely in the right steps to get there, with a significant progress with AI, machine learning, and automation. Every CSP, as we spoke, is a different stage of the cloud adaptation, so we are basically starting from a different starting point towards a common goal. Our integrated approach automates everything across radio to transport to cloud networks. And security, of course, is a top priority. We are currently running about 500 telco projects globally using AI-driven security. If you just take currently Europe, for example, we are partnering with a major CSP to train AI models for network efficiency and sustainability. In North America, we are working with a large CSP to automate slice operation using orchestration and assurance. I think Nokia, with our deep expertise in both software and network, we can meet our customers exactly where they are and move them towards the future of autonomous network. The journey is going to be challenging and require integration of advanced technology, including various AI solutions and modernization of the legacy system. I can summarize and say that in Nokia, we are committed, helping CSP along their journey towards a fully autonomous network.
Thank you for those last comments, Erez. Clearly, it's going to be a long journey to achieve fully autonomous networks, but there are wonderful opportunities to deliver business benefits along the way. Well, we must leave it there as we are out of time. It has been a very interesting and enlightening discussion. Thank you all for taking part and giving us a clearer insight into the challenges and drivers of autonomous networks. And if you'd like to find out more, please follow the links on this page to learn about Nokia's zero-touch revolution. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.